You are listening to the Concierge Minister Podcast, a place to grow, learn, and be inspired as you discover God's purpose for your life. Here's your host, the pastor you've always wanted without the church, Dr. Kumar Dixit.
Hey, what's up, guys? It has been a while, but I am so glad that you're still actually listening to Concierge Minister Podcast. The two of you who are out there in La La Land, thank you so much for listening. I am so excited. Good things have been happening. Man, good things have been happening. But I want to talk to you today about something that we don't talk about a lot, and that is there's a big portion of the Bible that's boring. It's like, OMG, what am I doing? Why am I reading this? This is crazy. And luckily for you, if you're not like an active Bible reader, luckily for you, your pastor usually just picks the interesting stuff. But if you go through I don't know, let's just say Numbers or Lamentations, I mean, it's kind of like, what is this about? So about a year ago, I was surfing Facebook, stalking my friends. And I saw a friend of mine, Pastor Christo, on Facebook, and he was just talking in a microphone. I was like, boring, and I just kept scrolling. And then over the next several days, he was on every morning. So I finally clicked on, and I was like, wait a minute, my boy is reading the Bible from beginning to end. Now, that is crazy. And I was like, okay, I know Pastor Christo, and I know he's never gonna actually finish this up. Okay, I mean, come on, this is all habits, all New Year's resolutions end after week 3. So I was waiting, but then January and February and March went by, and I was like, what, my boy? And then it was early in the morning too, before I woke up, he'd be up already. So it's the end of the year of 2021. I had to invite Pastor Christo. Pastor Noy, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on here.
Are you mad that I just said you never finish anything you started?
I didn't think I would finish either.
What gave you this idea, man? It's okay to be hey, we're going to read the book of Matthew, 28 chapters, you're done. It's a month. But the whole Bible?
Well, there's so many things. One of the things is I saw so much content online that was depressing, and I wanted to put out positive content.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard coming up with consistently good content.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was, because so much happened online over 2020, that I thought this might be good to do online. The initial thought was I was going to do it through Zoom with a bunch of friends, a bunch of young adults from church, and we'll read this from beginning to end. And I was going to put it on Facebook, as a side product.
Yeah.
And whoever is on Facebook can benefit from this. So I chose the Bible because I thought, what better content to put out there than the Bible? That's better than anything I could come up with. And that's where it was born.
That's good. That's awesome. I remember the first time I read the Bible from beginning to end. Well, not really beginning from end, but I used the 1-year Bible. It was 1993. And, what's nice is that it tells you read a little bit of the Old Testament, a little bit of the New Testament, has a psalm in the middle. So, kind of just changes it up a bit. When you were reading this, one of the questions I asked you probably back in March of this year, I said, hey man, why don't you just record it and record 5 of them, in one day, and then just hit it out there. So it looks like, you are doing it live. And your answer was?
Well, I need it to be live, because if I'm not waking up at 7 to read the Bible every day, I really can't expect anyone else to wake up at 7 to watch what I'm putting out there.
Well, that's integrity, man. But I'm telling you, you could have done it. You could have put that little live button.
I should have.
And hit send, and everyone thinks you're live, right? But what you told me, I don't even remember. You told me that would be great, but there's actually people that are waking up to do it with you.
There are. I get there's about 5 to 7 that will be with me every morning at 7 o'clock, and yeah, it'd be wrong for me to be in bed while those 5 or 7 are up, watching my video.
They're chatting live and you're not responding. You need to get like a robot or something, a bot to respond to them. Just bless you, brother.
Right. because they are chatting and they're like, "Hey, good morning, Noy. How you doing?" And I was
Yeah.
like, I need to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, did you record the whole thing? Like, is it all recorded and you can like put it up on YouTube or
So
something?
most of it was archived by Facebook. It wasn't an
Okay.
intentional recording.
Hmm.
It looks like some of my earlier months may have been pushed out just because there's so much content on there. But
Right.
yeah.
No, that's really cool. So let's just ask the question that I'm dying to ask, and that is, how did you like how did you pronounce all those names? Like, were you embarrassed? Like, did you have to do like research? Did you have to like listen to figure out how to name stuff?
No, I just very unashamedly, I'm sure, butchered all of them. I just did my own version of whatever I thought that name came out to be.
It's like Mephibosheth. Okay, that's good. So I want to know, as you were reading the Bible, like what did you learn for yourself, like spiritually, as you read through the Bible?
I think going through each of the stories made the characters feel a whole lot more human, a
Hmm.
whole lot more relatable.
Hmm.
I felt bad for God in so many instances because I was like, this person's a mess. I don't know why you're, so patient with them or putting up with them. And I guess it felt the same way with me because
Hmm.
they are relatable. And I was
Hmm.
like, I have no idea why God puts up with me so much, but I guess it just makes his love feel so much more special.
Was there a part of you that was like, man, this God is mean. Like he's like murdering people. There's like genocide, there's rape, and he's allowing like multiple, marriages. I mean, there's a lot of deceit, and it seems like he's kind of like just allowing it to happen.
Um, Perhaps it's colored by my view of my belief that, God is love. And so I try to see everything through that
Okay.
lens that God is love. And more than all of that, I just saw God as being patient. And most of the things where bad stuff happened, it was a result of the choices that the people made themselves. And
Mm.
so it's hard to blame it all on God.
Interesting. So when you read, as you've read this, like, people always talk about it, an Old Testament God, a New Testament God.
Mhm.
As you've read both of this, what kind of God have you kind of like, do you have a new image of God now that you've read through the Bible?
Um, I didn't see a difference in the gods between the Old Testament and the New Testament so much.
Hmm.
I think I just saw the message being slightly different,
Mm.
with the Old Testament being, I guess, historical,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the New Testament, just getting back to what God was trying to have, people learn or people know about Him or His ministry, His love, whatever. So, yeah, I can, even in the Old Testament, it's easy to see God's, overarching theme of love with the people there, how he's constantly trying to establish them as a people, constantly trying to give them their own land, constantly trying to give them, years of peace and prosperity. But yeah,
That's
he
cool.
tried.
Yeah, yeah, he tried. I like that. Hey guys, it's Kumar with conciergeminister.com. Do you know what people really hate about church and what they really, really hate about televangelists? It's that they are always asking you for money. Now, I'm not going to ask you for money, but I'm going to ask you to think about sowing a seed for conciergeminister.com. I don't take a salary, I don't make any money off of this, but there are so many people that are discovering about this ministry and learning about God and discovering good news and getting hope. I got to tell you, there's so many stories. I'm going to start sharing them on our website so you can follow how incredible people's lives are being changed. So I want you to think about sowing a seed, whether you donate $1 million or less, whatever you want to do. It's tax deductible, but really think about making an investment in God's kingdom. Amazing things are happening, and I want you to join me. You've got questions about where the money's going or how it's being used, just email me at conciergeminister@gmail.com. Visit me at conciergeminister.com/donate, and you'll learn a lot more about where the money goes. God bless. Bye-bye. So Noy, now that you've read pretty much the whole thing, this year, is there a new part of the Bible? Is there a new favorite section that you're like, man, I didn't realize how good this was?
Yes. So before reading this, I think my favorite book of the Bible was Esther. I just loved the narrative of that. It was a nice story. But after going through this, I think Nehemiah is now my favorite. It's a lot shorter than
Mm,
I thought it was.
mm,
And the story there sounds, like a man struggling in a world where there are things going wrong,
yeah.
but he's trying to do his bit to make it right. And so it's an uphill struggle. He faces a lot of opposition,
Hmm.
but it doesn't discourage him. So yeah, that's my new favorite.
That's awesome. You know what I love about Nehemiah is that he takes the initiative on his own.
Yeah,
It's not like God comes to him in a dream. He's like, you are chosen, like Abraham. Like he sees the disparity
hmm
of the walls of Jerusalem and he cries and he's like, I need to do something about this.
right, yeah. And I think we need more of that in this world. You see
Mm,
something wrong, um, try and fix it yourself, especially if it breaks your heart. Don't wait for someone else, to start doing it.
I love that. What about Jesus? What kind of view of Jesus did you see as you began to read all of that at once?
One of the things I've realized is that in the Bible, the actual story of Jesus is not as large as I thought it was.
Hmm.
That there's so much more going around, and that he's, I mean, I guess there's the whole the story of salvation and everything that is running, throughout the whole Bible.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, through most of the New Testament, the letters that they write are about the hope and everything that Jesus has. I don't think that's changed very much, for me growing up
Mm.
within the church. We've heard that story before, and I think perhaps, that's our fault as preachers, that we focus on Jesus a lot and we miss out a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah, you know what I find interesting about Jesus is, there's four gospels, but they're called
Yeah.
synoptic because they're similar. So when
hmm
you actually look at all the like what's the original story of Jesus without it being repeated, like 70% of it is like all repeatable stories of Jesus. So there's
Yeah.
really not a lot of content that and even though it's I think it's John chapter 21 where he says at the very end, there were so many things done by Jesus that not even all the books in the world could record it. And I'm
Right.
like, well, if that's true, why didn't you guys like write four different gospels? So yeah, I think that's a good point. Any part of the Bible that you were kind of like, this doesn't need to be in here. I'm kind of like done with this.
Yeah, well, there's so much that's repetitive
Mm, mm-hmm.
um, through so many books, that I thought the Bible could have been shorter without them repeating the
Okay.
same things over and over again. The Chronicles, Kings, some of those things weren't necessary to the story of salvation.
Okay, okay. That's hilarious. You're gonna get in trouble for this. I know you are. Your members are gonna start like
Probably.
writing a campaign, a letter campaign to kick you out. That's so funny. They say that, I mean, one of my struggles, as a minister is that, there's devotional books are great, but the
hmm
Bible's the best. And so there's this like kind of tension where you want people to grow spiritually and they're reading, Max Lucado and
hmm
Joyce Myers and they're, getting all this good stuff. But then I'm like, but just read the Bible, So
Right.
so for you and the people that were kind of like following you every single day at 7 in the morning, how have you seen lives change just by the reading of the word?
Um, like you were saying, that was one of the things as well. I don't want to put in any, commentary or any of my own opinions. I just wanted to put the Bible out there.
Mm,
One of the things that feels that's made an impact with this is that me and I guess the other people that are reading is we're not waking up at 7 to hear what Noy has to say.
mm,
We're waking up at 7 to spend time with God. We're not here
wow.
for Noy's opinions or Noy's comments. We're
Mm,
spending time with God every single morning. We're there with the Bible. Many of them, have their Bibles opened even before 7 o'clock, waiting for me to
mm.
come on. And they're waiting for their time with God. And I think that is special. That's what I wanted to come out of this.
I love it. So somebody who's thinking and they're listening to you right now, they're like, okay, okay, I'll read the Bible next year, 2022. Any kind of advice that you want to give to anybody that you've learned as you've read the Bible through?
Um, well, one of the things I've learned, and this is what's great about it, when I started doing this, I wasn't doing it as a pastor.
Mm,
I wanted to do it with friends. Being, online virtually with friends is something we've gotten used to doing now with friends and
mhm.
family. And if you can do that, because it's easier to meet virtually now, we don't have to go anywhere at 7 in the morning. We don't have to, get ready, get dressed, warm up the car, and drive out and
Yeah.
meet someone. We can wake up, wash up, freshen up, and then meet at 7. But get a group around you,
Mm,
because if not for the people that joined me every morning at 7, I would not have gotten through reading the Bible this year.
wow.
So
Wow.
make sure that you have a strong support group. That's
Mm,
that's important.
that's positive peer pressure.
Yeah, yes.
I love it. Pastor Noe Christo, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and to my listeners, just want to let you know, probably in mid-January, I'm going to be producing a video on some of the different versions of the Bible that I like, that I think is easy to read. Pastor Noy, by the way, what version did you use when you read through the Bible?
I used the ESV.
Yep. Okay. So English Standard
Um,
Version.
so normally I use the I read the NIV or the NKJV, but
Okay.
just to be different so that I don't, fall into what patterns that I have of memorized, I tried a version that I don't usually use.
Oh, that's really great. Really great. Well, once again, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to Concierge Minister Podcast. I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Concierge Minister podcast. If you want to learn more about growing in your faith or looking for an online faith community for support while you're on your journey, please visit conciergeminister.com or send us an email at conciergeminister@gmail.com. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating. If you find this podcast helpful, please tell your friends about us. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, go and live your best life.